follow-up video for the concern for the community. Now, I've gotten to page 5 on this before. Roberto and RT's posts were the last. Roberto was a regret purchaser. He refunded. Exposition dumps wouldn't have been an issue if the voice acting wasn't so bad. It's not a voice actor. Yep. Text-to-speech program. Stiv. Nope. This is a better Now, basically, this is going to be Stiv arguing some semantics. That would be like 2 or 3 videos, just me reading these out loud, but, I'm just going to, do a pause and a read. Pause and a read. Check out Stiv. Tip off Giggets. A little bit of back and forth here and here. A little bit of back and forth. Whole bunch of back and forth. Blake. Oh, don't worry. There are dozens of his posts where he's complaining about the exact thing he now claims he never complained about. P.S. Please don't quote the troll. There is a reason half the forum has him blocked. And he's talking about Andreas. He's talking about Andreas, talking about half of the forum has this guy blocked. That's pretty hyperbole there. How many people is he speaking for? Oh, we went back to page 2 on that. Look at that. Man. I would not call Andreas a troll. And I would not say that half of the forum has Andreas blocked. Oh man, what a straw man. He says something that I disagree with, and therefore he's a troll. Almost a Jill sandwich. Do you guys remember many months ago, it might have been last year, I covered a locked thread where Abraxas kind of came out and put his big old foot in his mouth, and then basically he had a false flag set up where almost a Jill sandwich came in and was talking about, fuck you, Abraxas, and basically behaved in such a way that would have gotten anybody banned. But no, gave Abraxas every excuse to lock the thread. Well, look, they're back. They still own the game. They're talking crap. Engiak. There's nothing wrong with below 0. Oh, there's a lot wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with saying you like it, but there is something wrong with saying that there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it being different. Could have been better, but just because it's different doesn't excuse it from critique. But then again, he's just talking about copy and paste of the original. Well, his defenses are copy and paste. His response to some of the complaints. And see, he's addressing people's complaints. People who have complaints with the game. We don't make topics. We don't make topics and we're like, hey, let me address everything that people like about the game and tell you why it's shit. I'm like, that's crazy. Why does someone have to make a post where they give their response to complaints? These are people's opinions, bruh. But if he's going to argue about them, I'm going to bring them up. PDA Indian accent. I can understand it just fine, and I see no reason why an accent would break immersion. The real world has many languages and accents. First off, of course, I want to point out the obvious. This is one of those, it's not a problem for me, so I don't see why it's a problem for anyone else. I've tore into that logic many times recently. No need for me to go back into it. But it breaks immersion. The real world has many accents and languages. Yeah, That's I don't know how he's correlating this non sequitur here, but yeah, the real world does have many accents. We're not in the real world. Real world. We're playing a video game where we're on an alien planet and we're like 200 meters below the surface and we're suffocating and drowning, and we need our PDA to be very clear and concise when we're trying to scan something. It's not the same. There's no immersion break in reality. And you know what? If you're in a situation in the real world and somebody that you're talking to, and there's a breach in communication, you can't quite understand that person. Or maybe you know what? Maybe you're the one with the accent. Maybe you can understand that other person just fine, but they keep asking you to repeat yourself, and it's like they're not trying to aggravate you. They feel embarrassed about having to keep asking, but they just can't make out what you're saying. That's not an immersion break, but it makes things more difficult. Especially, a lot of people know it's like, hey, you know how much money costs. You know how much money costs. Yeah, man, I like to buy some money, but you know how much a product costs, and then you pay for it. You don't necessarily have to speak the same language to make a transaction, but it's a lot different, buying a pack of cigarettes or, buying a pack of gum and say buying insurance or something like that, going to the hospital. You want to speak the same language. So I don't know how he brings up immersion breaking in the real world. That's weird. Okay. He wants to respond to the complaints of don't like female character. And the story is written around a female. What's your problem with women? Well, the people that are actually complaining about having to play as a woman, I mean, yeah, I guess that would apply to them. But there's so many people. I think he's conflating people not liking Robin with one or two trolls that say, why do I got to play as a female character? Because a lot of people don't care that we have to play as a female character. X amount of games where we already did play as a female character. We care because she's a shit character. This wasn't an issue in the first game because it was Riley was an analog for us. They didn't have to worry about quality control or writing a good character. When they tried to write a good character, it came out shit. Not because Robin's a female. It's not because she's got a vagina between her legs, and it's not because her skin is black. It's because the person that wrote her is garbage. So I'm a guy playing a female character. This isn't a role-playing game. She does not represent me or you. She exists because the story was written about her. Coincidentally, if we was playing a story game, if Subnautica 1 was a story game where Riley Robinson's name, gender, and ethnicity mattered, we still would have had people on the left complaining, oh, why can't we play as a female? People defend the female characters by saying it shouldn't matter if you're a different gender. But when someone else complains about having, when someone else complains about a male character being in there without the female choice, that same argument, you can't throw it at them. They'll shoot it down. It's not acceptable. But when it's convenient for them, they'll use it. World too small, never need to go back to the start location. That's a weird concern. How many people have complained, I never have to go back to the safe shallows? But yeah, the world is so small, and his response is, so what? That's basically his response. So what? I think people tend to forget that for all the size of the original, it included multiple kelp forests, multiple grassy plateaus, multiple safe shallows, with patches of empty sand in between. And what's your point? And we all enjoyed it more. What's your point? So the original had a lot of stuff spread out and a fair amount of copy and paste terrain. Oh boy, so does Below Zero. Talking about what copy and paste terrain is. Below Zero doesn't. It doesn't. It has patches of kelp. Yeah, it's got 2 kelp forests. But beyond that, each biome is unique. Yeah, you've got 2 Arctic biomes exactly the same. We've got 2 lava. We've got two purple geyser biomes: the purple geysers and the deep purple geysers. We've got two lily pad biomes: the lily pads and the deep lily pad crests.